Nebraska senator who voted for anti-trans bill says she has no clue what it was about. Republican State Senator Christy Armendariz admitted that she doesn't watch the news or get the newspaper after being shocked that a journalist from New York Magazine attended a hearing on Legislative Bill 574. The bill, known as the Let Them Grow Act, bans those under 19 from accessing vital gender-affirming care, including physically reversible puberty blockers, by threatening any medical organization that provides them with lawsuits. It also includes a ban on gender-affirming surgeries for trans youth, despite no healthcare organization anywhere permitting operations to be done on under 15 years of age. Teenagers aged between 15 and 18 are only referred for operations under exceptionally rare circumstances. LB 574 was approved by Governor Jim Pillen, also a Republican, on May 22nd, despite the several-month-long filibuster by Democrats. Megan Hunt, who has a trans son. Prior to the bill's passing, Hunt urged lawmakers to, quote, "love your family more than you hate mine," end quote, when voting on the bill while condemning an investigation into accusations that she has a conflict of interest because of her son. The governor's decision to also sign a 12-week abortion ban into law further places him at odds with the will of Americans and most Nebraskans. All right, y'all, a lot to unpack here, I think, because, I mean, call me maybe a cynical or not a cynic or something, but none of this surprises me, right? That is like the rhetoric itself is often the danger, right? That is like, she just had to read that it was an anti-trans bill for it to be, for it to just kind of get the approval, right? Like that is, I remember when, I think back to Sarah Palin for some reason, when she was asked what she reads, like literally name any newspaper in the world, and she was like, I don't know. And like, I mean, this is, but I also just want to task voters with this. Like, are you okay with putting people into office who literally have no idea what's going on, who have no clue and no sense of what the world is about?
When I read this, my first thought was, somewhere out there is videotape.
Yeah.
Get the videotape and just run it constantly. Whatever Democrat is going to run against her, and for crying out loud, Democrats, run against these people, please. They should not be running unopposed. Get the videotape and run it constantly. Make it your ad.
There's two things that drive me crazy. The one is, I really hate how they're putting targets on trans people and trans kids and trans parents that are loving their kids. They're not doing anything except for loving their kids, and they're putting targets on them, which is very, very dangerous, right? So that makes me incensed. But as a healthcare professional, someone who's worked in healthcare for I think I'm going on 34 years now. We work under HIPAA, right? Like there's a federal law. You do not break HIPAA privacy ever, and you don't. Right? You just don't do that. I don't even think about saying, you could be my patient. Like nobody would ever know. The fact that these people feel like they can encroach into people's doctor's visits. I was just talking about how we're trying to rebuild our relationship with the community, right? When you come in, you have to feel safe to tell your darkest, deepest secrets, where it hurts, like all the things that you're going through. These are not easy things to do. To think that someone could just come in there and find out all your business and then start making choices for you is like, I can't. Like, I start to get heart palpitations. It goes against everything that the medical community stands for and everything that we do. I don't know what world these politicians live in, but it's not what we do. We don't talk about these things. These are very, very private decisions and discussions between a professional and their patient. It's not your business. If you don't like it, don't get one. You know what I mean?
Simple, right. When you hear about a numbskull, a Nebraska numbskull, such as Armendariz, you realize it's not that hard to believe that the same state was the breeding ground for spree killer Charles Starkweather. I mean, seriously, what's going on in Nebraska? What is going on there? Unfortunately, there are still sane people. For example, Democrat Megan Hunt, who she worked so hard to have her voices heard, to have their voices heard, regardless of the outcome.
you were much kinder in your description, because my favorite word for people like that is dumbass.
You know, to Paul's point, one of the things that always surprises, and I mean this so sincerely, it's going to sound almost as a joke, and I don't mean it that way, is that there's often more, when people are talking about trans issues, and a lot of these lawmakers, you feel like you see, they have such a lack of understanding of even the most basic ways that these things work. Like you see more sophisticated analysis of gender in like an episode of South Park or Family Guy or something. I mean, like, which also gets it really wrong. And like, that seems more sophisticated than their basic understanding. Like you just walk into a room and like, I mean, who knows what, like it's such a bizarre idea, and it's just fear, right? It's fear is what's controlling.
Well, and this idea of politicians making these kinds of decisions.
Medical decisions.
They're politicians. Stick to what you know.
Which is nothing. Let us tell you what.
What
let us
they do
tell
is
you.
to serve themselves, in my opinion. They're just egomaniacal people that are using us and other people as the hot buttons to get votes to feed their ego. It's sad, and they're supposed to represent their citizens, but they don't. We know that. But thank God the system works.
I'm not sure about that.
A couple of people got convicted today from the Shining
that is true. Yeah,
That's true.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.